If you're a parent and you're currently paying school fees for your child, buying what you term to be education, that Daniel Trimila calls miseducation, calls confusion, calls noise, please, this video is dedicated to you. Sit down and relax. We're in class, you're learning. Who is speaking before you? Daniel Trimila. My vision, I'm fixing the messy education system in Africa so that every child wakes up knowing who they are and is in position to align who they are with Africa's 21st century problems, use the tools available, curate solutions, and of course offer solutions to Africa, solve 21st century Africa's problems, and of course collect fortune while making an impact. Because I refused to let my kids be the only free ones. Stay with me. I want to talk to you about the blame game in the education system in Africa. Oh, no, basically in Uganda. The education system basically in Uganda. Look at the blame game. There are three actors in this game. We have the government, we have the schools, and then we have the parents and the students. Government, we have the schools, and then we have parents and the children. Now I'm talking about a 25-year-old graduate that has just finished graduating. Probably they did in 2025. And here's what they say. Parents blame the government for not ensuring the availability of jobs in the marketplace. Because when you look at the number that graduates and the number of jobs available in the marketplace, the number that graduates cannot be absorbed by the job opportunities in the marketplace. For example, 700,000 graduated last year in 2025, and out of 700,000, it's only 90,000 that gotten jobs. So 610 remained employed on paper and not in reality. On paper and not in reality. You understand? So 610 not getting into employment, and they passed through a system for years promising them jobs. So parents later become unhappy, depressed. They sold land, sold cows, sold homes, slept on empty stomachs, sacrificed to pay school fees for their children. And now they're not under employment. And worst, they cannot think, they cannot curate, they can't produce, they can't spot problems and offer solutions because they passed through a system that made them to believe that the way through is jobs. Now, parents and students blame the government. The government blames both the schools and parents. The government says the students are incompetent. They do not have skills. That's why they cannot be employed. They don't have skills. And then it's blaming the schools for not preparing the students to have skills. And the schools are also blaming the government for not ensuring the availability of jobs. So now it's just a blame game. They cannot answer the who is right, who is wrong question. Because the schools are like, no, for us, our role is to give them papers. So we gave them, that's why they graduated. Don't they have papers? They do have. So now, my interest is not in the blame game. My interest is during this session of blaming one another, who is the winner and who is the loser? I realized that schools are winning because for them they are in the business of making money. They are just institutions, building that were put out so that they're in position to make money. And they are making money, generating millions and millions of money. That's why 70% of all schools in Uganda are privately owned. They are in business to make money, not to ensure that your child, as a parent, gets education. Gets education. So schools are making money. That's why they are still in business. They are continuing. After all, they are that kids that are going through the school factory. Now, who is the other winner? The other winner is the government. That's why it's not doing anything. It knows that it makes more money from people that aren't creative, aren't thinkers, aren't leaders, and producers. It makes more money from them than the wealthy. Makes sense? So the government is winning. The schools are winning. So who's the loser? The loser is the parent and the child. The parent is strained financially, is in depression, under depression, because they sold cows, they sold goats, they sold homes, they sold land. They slept on empty stomachs. They are now even sick. They thought they were buying education, but in actual sense, they bought noise, confusion, poison. So that's the blame game. The parents and the students are blaming the government for the scarcity jobs being limited in the marketplace. And the government is also blaming the students for not being competent, skilled. Government is also blaming the schools for not skilling the students. The schools are also blaming the government for not ensuring jobs being ready in the marketplace. So it's the parent that is left in dilemma and the child. So here's my ask to a parent who is currently paying school fees. I ask you to ask yourself this fundamental question: what exactly are you buying? The question is, what exactly are you buying? Are you buying education? You are buying miseducation. Are you buying education? You are buying confusion. Are you buying education? You are buying noise. Or you're just buying information. Information. You know, education is two-sided. It is either a blessing to your child or a curse. Any education your child is consuming without purpose in existing, it's miseducation, it's a curse, it's poison, it's toxic. Seneca put it very well. If a man knows not to which port he sails, no winds are favorable. Yes. So if you don't know your child's purpose and they are busy consuming education, that's not education, that's miseducation. That's confusion, that's indoctrination, that's standardization. It's confusion, it's noise, it's poison. Because there's no destination. That's why I always ask those in my community, what is your child in school? Why is your child in school? My child is in school to get grades, to get a certificate. What kind of bullshit is that? Look at data. Let's look at data. I don't care whether your child is learning to be a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, etc. Look at data. Look at data. Go in the marketplace. You can go there physically or you can jump there online and look at data. What is data saying? Hey. So I ask you to question what you are buying. Second, I ask you to acknowledge who is your child. When you find their purpose, you find their flow. Any child whose purpose is discovered, school is a toxic environment. Because your child is a creator. Schools do not nurture creators. Your child is a producer. Schools do not nurture producers. Your child is an entrepreneur. Schools do not offer entrepreneurship lessons, do not teach entrepreneurship. Your child is a thinker. Schools stop thinking. Stop thinking. So you realize that everything your child requires to be great, to make an impact, to attract fortune, it's not inside school, it's outside school. Who is speaking before you, by the way? My name is Daniel Trimila. I'm building the first institution in Africa that is producing billionaire CEOs under the age of 19 because I refused to let my kids be the only free ones. I pulled my kids out of the imported school factory system. Daniel was in middle class term 2, Derek baby class term 2, because I wanted a different taste of education for them. And when I looked in the marketplace, I found no uniform, no building, no timetable, no curriculum, no teacher that is in position to build my kids as purpose-aware kids, as thinkers, creators, producers, leaders. I became a complainant, and the psychology of complaining states that I'm not allowed to complain at a thing without offering a solution. So guess what I did? I had to sit down and study the institutions, the cultures that build extraordinary kids. I went, studied the Stoic philosophy, the India, Marwari family. I went on to study the Jew community. And guess what I found? I found one thing in common: purpose before education, foundation before a structure. So I had to discover who are my kids. who are my kids. So I created a methodology that they're following up to date. If you're interested in helping you know who exactly your child is, how can you discover their purpose, and of course how can you align their purpose to problems so that they're in position to curate solutions, all that, and develop a business from all that, please, I'm the right guy to contact. Hit this number, send us a message, +256 4737 6256. Cheers. I remain DK. I'm just your boy. Good luck.